Hello and welcome to the inaugural edition of Blackboard Connect series on the business of government. Mass notification is often pigeonholed for use only during emergencies. However, a number of our clients see great success using the Blackboard Connect system to send targeted notifications that help communities like yours reduce costs and generate revenue. This episode explores using Blackboard Connect to support the business of municipal courts, for everything from routine reminders to overdue payment notices. And with that, I am pleased to welcome our first guest.
My name is Jeff Suggs. I am the Emergency Management Coordinator and IT Manager for the city of LaPorte, Texas. LaPorte is Galveston Bay, east side of Houston. We're located on the water and in the chemical plant area of the Houston Ship Channel.
And how do you use Blackboard Connect in an emergency management capacity?
Well, in emergency management capacity, we'll do a couple of things. Obviously, we use the emergency notification system to do calls to all the citizens for, emergency alerts, or we can target certain areas of the city just in case there are, affected areas, not the whole city. And so the emergency side of things is very, compelling to us to use with the system.
And in addition to emergency notifications, you use it in your municipal court system too. Tell us about that.
We partnered with our court system a few years ago to utilize the Blackboard Connect system to call out people that have warrants, people that have outstanding tickets, fines, people that missed a court date, people that are doing community service, reminding them they're supposed to show up to community service, and then after they didn't show up, making another call and letting them know that they didn't show up, and a warrant or whatever will be placed out on their behalf.
What were some of the specific challenges you were trying to address by adopting Blackboard Connect in your court system?
Most courts, all courts, have outstanding warrants that or outstanding collections that are very difficult to collect on. And the challenge is, how do we contact someone in a mass quantity? And the way that it was always done before was people would have to work overtime. They would have to sift through emails that were on tickets or phone numbers that were given to police officers on tickets. Those numbers may or may not be right. And so by utilizing the Blackboard system and offering that up to them, they can import their data, and it can filter through what's a good number, bad number, and they can get the results based on how many people they've called and, where do they actually need to target further. And so we've had real good success with them shortening the workload from, multiple people in making these calls down to just one person, taking about 5 minutes to send out a pre-recorded call over.
And how often is your municipal court sending these targeted notifications?
The court they have court every Wednesday, and they have other special circumstances that they may have an extra court date during the week, trials of that nature. So every week the court is utilizing that system to make those calls of either late payments, either missed court date, either warrant out for your arrest because you didn't show up to court, those type things. Once a year, they'll do what's generally called the Great Warrant Roundup, and that's a program in Texas that was started years ago, and they will compile any extra folks that haven't taken care of their business throughout the year and import that data, and then send mass calls out for about 6 days to those same people, finding them and making sure that they know that, here's a little amnesty if you'll come in and take care of your business, within that week.
How large is your court's backlog in terms of outstanding revenue this year?
It varies. It depends on how many tickets were issued that year. However, the roundup will start this year sometime around the March 1st time frame, and I believe, if I remember correctly, to date they have about $380,000 outstanding dollars that are out there, and the phone calls will start and take place to about 2,000 people.
What were the results of using Blackboard Connect during the warrant roundup last year?
And last year, the warrants were cleared. 440 warrants were cleared by this warrant roundup. Total gross collections, around $85,000. Total face value of those warrants that were cleared was $178,000. the number of calls sent to clear that much money and collect that much in gross collections was 2,357 calls. Now that doesn't mean that one person made 2,357 calls. What that means is there were 4 calls, 4 times the workers logged into the system, set up a file, and sent a pre-recorded call. So it took them about 5 to 6 minutes to log into the system, send the call that actually called 2,300 and some odd people. And so we have a total of less than 30 minutes worth of work to clear $178,000 face value and bring in $85,000 total to the court system in 30 minutes.
And how did you collect this revenue prior to using Blackboard Connect?
Before we had Blackboard in place, it would take a week and a half to do this process. It would take 7 different people to do that. So depending on whether they were being paid overtime or straight time to do it, the time spent, the time that the court actually had to close and only take payments through a window and not even have a court date that week, we figured up that we saved in the realm of $23,000 to $30,000 a year just by utilizing this system based on man hours worked and time spent closing the court process before we had Blackboard.
So is it safe to say your use of mass notification to generate revenue in your courts covers the cost of your Blackboard Connect contract?
The savings in man hours and the collections that the court brings in is basically a wash. It basically pays for our system every year by the savings just in the man hours alone. And so, anything on top of that the courts collect is just add value to the city.
I'm curious to hear more about the qualitative results. Has your staff reacted positively to this program?
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's 1 or 2 people that utilize the system that put the process in place. Some of the folks knew the old way and were grateful that, they're not having to spend that time on the phone. A lot of times the interpersonal communication with someone on a phone that is trying to do collection isn't real positive. And so, just not a lot of positive things or reactions from people when you're trying to collect a warrant or you're trying to tell them they have a warrant or trying to collect a bill. And these, our court staff, they're not bill collectors. They're court staff personnel that deal in, municipal court. And so by asking those folks to stay on the phone and try to be a bill collector is a morale killer. And so by putting this service in, it does enhance their operation in the municipal court.
Many city and emergency managers avoid sending non-emergency messages for fear of diluting the impact of notifications during a real emergency. Do you share that concern? And if so, how do you overcome that challenge?
Years ago, reverse systems were generally always just utilized as emergency systems because when the call came through, it said on the caller ID either emergency messaging or it came from a specific city number. And the confusion that a lot of people felt was we can't overuse the system because we want people to answer it during an emergency. And that's absolutely true. We want people to answer in an emergency, and we don't want to overuse the system. However, with technology today in the Blackboard system, you can customize your phone call to show up a different number and a different readout on your caller ID. For instance, if the call comes from court, it has the court number on it. If the call comes from Public Works, it has the Public Works number on it. If the call is an emergency call that comes from emergency management or our communication department with our dispatchers, it has a separate number on it and even says emergency. And so you can differentiate between the departments and the call that's actually coming through. The citizens, they're not sure if it's a Blackboard Connect or if it's a city employee that's calling. What they see on the caller ID is what we program in and customize. So, we're not overtaxing the system at all, and we're not overtaxing our residents at all by them feeling that we're desensitizing them to the call out system. It shows up different every time we make a call for a specific department. We have used the system quite a bit, and I think that the response that we have had from the citizens and those that actually are the transient population, the workforce in the area, from utilizing the system is very positive. People really enjoy the fact that we can communicate to them in multiple different ways.
Do you have any final thoughts on how using Blackboard Connect supports you in your role as LaPorte's emergency manager?
Well, the speed of use and the ability to reach out beyond other means that I currently have. One of the greater things about Blackboard is the fact that I am a skeptic, and so trying to make this system fail, it was pretty important to me. I can't make it fail. I haven't been able to make it fail. We have tried to do things multiple times just to tax the system, and it's such a robust system that we can't make it fail. And so we feel very, very confident in having the system, not only for emergency side, but the non-emergency side, to do what we need to do to reach out to the community. I've had many systems. As an emergency manager, the theory of having redundant systems is very important. I don't have a redundant reverse call system. This is it. And this one works well. It does everything it's designed to do. And the people really enjoy us being able to communicate with them in multiple ways.
Thank you, Jeff, for sharing your experience using Blackboard Connect in your municipal courts. This concludes our first episode of our series on using mass notification to support the business of government. If you are a current client interested in implementing this in your court system, contact your client care representative. If you are not familiar with Blackboard Connect and want more information, call the number on screen. Thanks for watching.